If you're an audio editor or a sound engineer, you might be pleasantly surprised to know that Pro Tools Studio has just released a really great plugin that comes free in the 2024.6 version. Hi, my name is Heini, aka the Voice of Chief, and not only have I been a voiceover artist, but I've also been editing radio commercials, promos, and imaging since 2002 from Manila, Philippines, all the way to Tag 91.1, the Filipino radio station here in Dubai. I started my editing career using Adobe Audition. Well, Cool Edit if you're an OG like moi. And I used it until 2016 when I migrated to using Pro Tools. I left behind so many cool features on Adobe Audition that Pro Tools didn't have, but I had to adjust and live on without them. However, there is just this one plugin that I can never get over not having, and that is the RX Spectral Editor, which comes so handy when you want to be critical about removing certain frequencies or unwanted noises that normal noise reduction plugins can't do. Well, if you're using Pro Tools Studio and you've updated to the 2024.6 version, you're in luck as the RX Spectral Editor now comes free. Let's check it out. In this session, I'll be editing using the free plugin under the new update of Pro Tools Studio 2024.6, where I'm going to be showing you how the RX Spectral Editor works on Pro Tools. It's free in the new update. So let's check it out. So I've opened a session of Pro Tools. I've pre-selected some pretty bad recordings. These recordings were given to me as a vox pop or as a testimonial for an event, and obviously they recorded in a very bad open space. But that's not the issue here. I mean, we're going to try to cure whatever problems that each of these clips have, and I'm going to be using the Spectral Editor. Okay? Now, if you're a Pro Tools user like myself, who came from Adobe Audition, normally what you would do to pull up the Spectral Editor is to go to the bottom of the session until your cursor becomes like this, like so you could pull up something. But in this case, if I pull this up, it's not going to show. Something else will show, not the Spectral Editor. Okay, so what we want is the Spectral Editor. Normally, to pull up a plugin in Pro Tools, you have to go to either two ways. You can go to the Audio Suite plugin, a drop-down menu bar, and you can look for it here. It could be under Dynamics, which I know it's not there. It could be in Instrument, which I know it's also not there. Effect, I know it's not going to be there as well. Other, I know it's not going to be there as well. Same goes if you apply the track on, if you apply the plugin on the track, same thing, it won't be there. So for you to pull up the RX Spectral Editor, click on the audio clip, right click, and on the drop-down menu, you should see it right here, RX Spectral Editor, and then click on Edit. Once you click on Edit, it'll pop where it normally shows up at the bottom of the session. And this is what it looks like, okay? And as you can see as well, it'll also show up now on the track. If you want this to disappear, you can either just pull the plugin all the way down till it disappears, and vice versa. If you want it to show, just pull it up again. It'll show up again. Or if you want a faster way, on the track, you'll see it right here, under RX Spectral Editor, just click, basically just click on and off, and it should pop in and out. Out, in, out, in. Okay? All right, so what is the RX Spectral Editor? Now, if you're just looking at the audio track or the clip, it's a 2D representation of the audio clip. Now, what if there's something in the background that you want to cure, right? Since it's two-dimensional, you won't be able to see it because you need a third axis. The Spectral Editor shows you the different frequencies that are in the audio clip. No, wait, hold on. Before I move forward, oh, and by the way, if you want to if you don't want to edit if you don't want to use the editor this way, you can always pop it out by clicking on this button here, which is detached from the edit window, and it becomes its separate window. You can just move around and edit it anyway. Or if you still want to have it there, just dock it back in, clicking on the upper right little icon over here, and it disappeared. There you go. And that's how it's supposed to go. Okay? So for the horizontal way of looking at it, this is your time frame. So from 0 second, from all the way to the left to the right, that is the length of time the audio clip has. So if you look at the audio clip itself, and it should be the same way as it is with the Spectral Editor. Okay? Now, for the frequencies, it is gauged vertically from the bottom of the screen all the way to the top. So if I highlight it from here all the way there, that is the frequency. Now, for the frequency strength, it is depicted by the strength or how striking the color is. So here is one. If you look at the bottom line, you have a very solid yellow over there, and as it goes all the way up, it goes softer or goes weaker in color. Okay, so now let's listen to this audio clip and let's see what the problem is. That's why I chose this clip.
Ang daming pwedeng puntahan at kainan sa Yas Island. Swak pang weekend getaway.
Okay. Again, like I said, this is not going to be the perfect audio.
Enjoy na enjoy ang mga bata.
Sorry. Again, like I said, this is not going to be the perfect audio clip as this was recorded outdoors. So it's really bad. What I want to address here is the plosive that is heard. Where is it? Let's go to the center over here.
Swak pang weekend.
There it is. Let's back it up a bit.
Swak pang weekend.
If you heard that, it's that little
Swak pang weekend.
Okay, so let's say we want to cure that. In any good recording, we want it without any plosives. Okay, so we're going to try to cure that. Before we cure, let me explain to you the different parts of the Spectral Editor. Okay, so for the tools, for the editing tools, over here on the far left, the editing tools, by the way, are in the center of the Spectral Editor plugin. Okay, now for the far left one, it is the time selection tool. What this does is it selects from left to right the entire thing. Okay. Now, if you want to treat this entire selection, you can if you want to. It's really up to you. I'm just showing you how each works. If you just want to select like a certain portion or a box, literally, just select that, and there you go. Okay. If you want to highlight like an entire frequency, you choose the third one. And you choose from any part, and it'll just select that entire horizontal area. What is that good for? Let's say there's a particular humming in the background, or let's say there's an alarm clock going in the background, and it's really weak, and you didn't notice it during your voice recording, and now you want to remove it. Again, so that's the best way to go about it. Select that entire frequency, that entire line, and you'll be able to cure it. Fourth selection is the lasso selection. Basically, the lasso selection, you just circle around it and it becomes a lasso. So in this case, let's say we want to highlight that plosive. So we go around here and it's a really bad lasso. So there, and let's say you didn't do it correctly, you can always click and drag it and just move it. Wow. All right. So that's the lasso selection. And when I was using Adobe Audition, this was my favorite one, the brush selection tool. It's so easy because I just have to scrub that particular section and I can cure from there. So this is how it works. And then obviously I have to shade the middle portion, the center, until it becomes a perfect circular figure. Okay. This is new to me, the Magic Wand selection. So basically it has AI involved in it. It can tell it kind of tells you, are you selecting this entire thing or this entire thing or this certain selection? So if I click on, let's say that plosive, let's click somewhere else here so you see it. If I click on this plosive, it kind of says it's this one, isn't it? Or is it this one? Or you mean this one? So it basically detects which particular frequency it thinks you're trying to select automatically. My problem with this though I've already tinkered with it a bit, it's not perfect, okay? So you might have to keep on processing until you cure that plosive here, okay? So those are the selection tools. Now on the far left, you'll see different kinds of processes for healing or for curing. On the far left is the attenuate. The attenuate is also similar to the button on the right, which is the replace button, okay? My best description for the attenuate is this is the original way of clearing or cleaning a particular selection of that unwanted noise. Okay, so if my traditional way of doing it was click on the brush, and I don't have to choose attenuate because, I mean, the old version of RX Spectral Editor that's how I used to work it. It already knew which kind of clearing or curing I wanted. But with the latest update, with the replace, my best description for the replace, if you own an Android phone, and let's say you're taking a photo, and apparently there was like a photo bomber here, and you just want to erase that photo bomber, on your Android phone, you can immediately just select that person or that thing that you don't want in the picture, highlight it or lasso it, and then just clear image from the background, and it'll just let it disappear, and it'll just blend in. Everything, the picture will just blend in, pretending that picture, that object, or that image is not part of the picture. So that's how replace works over here at the Spectral Editor. Now it's really up to you how you really want to clear or clean the audio clip. Now what's great about this is, unlike before, if I automatically just, let's say it's this one, if I automatically just highlight or clear this, fill this up, once I let go of the mouse, it'll just automatically process. But that's not the case now in RX Spectral Editor. With this one, so since I've selected the portion that I want cured, I have to choose how strong. On the far right of the plugin, you get to choose how strong you want it to clean, the region, how the region is affected. So if you wanted like a gradual way of editing it, or a really aggressive way so that it's really not there, like a black hole in there, so you can do that. I haven't really experimented much on the weight. Yeah. For the direction, it depends. Like if you wanted to focus more of a vertical, horizontal, or that entire section. Again, this entire thing is just trial and error. So each audio clip is going to be different, the way you want it to sound like. So in this case, I just want to get rid of that pop. So let's get to that, okay? Okay, let's listen to it again. There it is. So it's around this area that I want to cure. So I'm just going to use my brush. Okay, so let's try the attenuate first. Okay, so since I've made my selection, now I have to press process. So let's try it. As you can see in the Spectral Editor, let me just undo it so you can see it. So this is the original, and this is curated. You see it? If you see the frequency strength, it lessened, right? But the true test is hearing it. So this is how it originally sounds. All right. Let's see how it sounds with the treatment. It didn't sound too great, as it kind of ruined a big part of the original audio. So let's undo that. So I think it's this one only. I think I just need to get rid of this part over here, because the plosive is always in the beginning of the audio clip, or the part that has the plosive. It's always in the beginning. So I'm going to do that. I want the direction of the curing in all 4 directions. The strength, I want it a little stronger, so I'm going to increase it to 2. The region, I'll leave it as is. Here we go. Process. And let's hear it.
And swak pang weekend getaway.
Okay, that sounds a little better. Let's make it a little more perfect. Oops, oops, oopsie. Turn that back on. muscle memory because I was pressing the undo button. When you press the undo button on the keyboard, it kind of gets rid of the plugin, which you don't want to do. So if you want to undo something, you have to click on the undo on the plugin. Okay, so it's this one. I want it. Okay, let's try that. Process.
And swak pang weekend getaway.
Okay, that was still a little too aggressive, so let's undo that. Maybe the strength was a little too high. Let's bring it back to 1. Okay, so let's try over here. Could be just this part. Process.
And swak pang weekend getaway.
Okay, that sounded a little, much better than my first try. So let's back it off a bit without ruining the original strength of the frequency. Process that one.
Swak pang weekend getaway. Swak pang.
Okay, I need to back off a bit. So highlight again. Process.
Island. Swak pang weekend getaway.
All right. I think I got it. It could be more perfect, but the way it is, I can get away with murder.
Island. Swak pang weekend getaway.
So the plosive's gone. Now, if you want to hear an easier way of listening to what you did versus the original, instead of doing the undo, redo part, on the clip, on the audio clip on your session, right click, and then you'll see that RX Spectral Editor is highlighted in orange or yellow. And then you'll see here now, initially there was just edit, but now there is bypass and clear. Obviously, if you want to clear, it'll just undo everything that you worked with because it could be more than just one plosive, and you want to get rid of everything that you worked on. Instead of getting rid of the plugin, you can just press on clear. But in this case, as I was saying, let's try bypass.
Ang daming pwedeng puntahan at kainan sa Yas Island. Swak pang weekend.
All right, it's still there. Okay. It's a lot more work though. And then unbypass.
Swak pang weekend.
So that's what it sounds like, the original versus the processed. So now that we've cured that, so basically you're fine, right? So earlier today, my friend was asking me, what if I move the clip outside of the track? Because apparently right now, as I'm working on Pro Tools, the plugin is only working only on the track. So if I move the clip out of the track, what happens to the original audio? Obviously, since I moved the clip outside of the track, now, if you notice, the current selection does not include a clip with ARA enabled. So basically, it's saying it doesn't exist. Okay, so there's nothing to process. Okay, so let's get rid of this. And let's listen to it.
Ang daming pwedeng puntahan at kainan sa Yas Island. Swak pang weekend getaway. Island. Swak pang weekend get.
Oh, okay, so it went with it.
Swak pang weekend.
Okay. Now, once you're okay with your edit, I would suggest, so you can save on CPU power, I would suggest clicking on the audio clip, right click, and then go back to RX Spectral Editor, and then render the effect into the clip so that you don't eat CPU power. Either that or leave it on your track, it's really up to you. It's just a matter of saving CPU power. So in this case, let's try render. Okay.
Ang daming pwedeng puntahan at kainan sa Yas Island. Swak pang weekend getaway.
Okay, so right now I don't really need RX Spectral Editor on the track anymore. I can just close that because I've already applied the effect into the audio clip itself. So there you go. That's the RX Spectral Editor in a nutshell, just for curing certain parts of your audio with plosives. There are also other functions here in the RX Spectral Editor, like gain mode, which I haven't really explored yet. So basically it's just increasing the volume of your clip, which you can just manually do without using Spectral Editor. This one is the declick. There are other plugins that are good for declicking as well. it'll be a longer video if I explain the declick for you, but since it's a free plugin, you might as well, the same way that I got rid of the plosive is the same way that you also can try to remove a click. There's also the de-humming mode. If basically a humming is like that persistent buzz or lack of a word, hum across your recording that you can just easily remove by choosing the frequency selection. Go here. Usually a hum is a lower vibration, so you can just select that and just click on it and then it should work. Right. Let's try it. But this is not a hum, just so you know.
And swak pang weekend getaway.
Whoa! Alright, it kind of cleared it.
Ayas Island.
Let's hear it without it.
Ayas Island. Swak pang
Huh.
Ayas Island. Swak.
Wow. I wasn't planning on discussing the de-hum, but there it works perfectly. So there you go. If you want to zoom in further into the selection, just scroll in your mouse, scroll in the mouse so that you have a more concentrated look into the clip that you're working on, a portion of the clip that you're working on, and you can work on it. So yeah, so that plosive is not there anymore. Let's undo that.
Ayas Island. Swak pang
All right.
Ayas Island. Swak pang weekend.
Yep. It's a really minute, see, it's right here. You see it? It's right here. Just look at that portion. Look at this portion over here. So that's the plosive. Let me just move that out of there.
Swak pang
Versus, you see? I treated it.
Swak pang weekend.
So there you go. The free plugin, the free RX Spectral Editor plugin, which is now free on the Pro Tools Studio 2024.6 version. Now, if you're on a perpetual license or a membership or subscription license, it is free for you, and I would suggest you getting it onto your DAW Pro Tools. Having the RX Spectral Editor alongside Pro Tools has just made editing and cleaning raw recordings a whole lot better. Just update to the latest 2024.6 version of Pro Tools, and it will be the best decision you'll be making for your audio editing process.